Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Soil Institute of Management. Today's session focuses on a question that is central to every serious applicant. What interview panel really look for a candidate, B school candidate, whether for applying for 1 year program or 2 year program? Interviews are often mistaken as a test of knowledge or corrections, but in reality, they are assessment of readiness for an intensive learning theory, for peer-based classrooms, and for the expectations that come with management education. To help us decode this clearly, we are joined by Soils Admission and Academic Leadership, who together have evaluated candidates both Year 1 and 2 year MBA programs. So we have three panelists over here. First, I would like to introduce you all three of them. So we have Dheeraj Pradhan, the admission head, Soil Institute of Management. Along with him, we have Santosh Kumar, Assistant Director of Soil Admission. And to join them, we have Professor Naveen, Professor of Practice Soil, formerly with IKEA and alumnus with IIM Lucknow. So I'll move forward directly into the discussion. So, sir, when you interview candidates for 1 year MBA program and 2 year MBA program, what are the first signals you instinctively look for? Sometimes even before the structured questions begin.
Shall I take that? Dheeraj is taking it?
Naveen sir, you can start with if you want to, and then
Yeah.
I'll take it up, yes, sir.
Okay. So, good evening, everyone. Welcome to this session. Thank you, Nitya, for your question. So, you're saying what's the difference? What are we looking for between in PGPM and PGDM candidates? The differences, but what is the first thing we look for? Is that right?
Yes, sir.
I think of course, every person who interviews, and these interviews are conducted by multiple different faculty from Soil. And I think each faculty member may have a slightly different style of interviewing. But most of us, I think one of the first things we look for is your energy level and your clarity of communication. So first of all, that you come, as in you look prepared, you look enthusiastic, and you come with clarity of why you have applied for this, why you want to do an MBA. I think that's one of the first things that everybody is looking for, because first impressions make a big difference. Then between PGDM and PGPM, of course, for PGPM candidates, we expect a certain level of experience. Although we have lowered the bar for PGPM HR, generally it's preferred that the 1 year PGPM program should be students with a reasonable amount of work experience. And in the PGDM case, of course, one is checking that whatever graduation you've done, have you got a decent level of knowledge in that area? Okay, because that tells us how prepared you are, how decent you are at academic, how decent you are about academics. I mean, and so it's not that we're expecting a very high bar, but it shouldn't be too low, and B, more than marks, I think your clarity of thought and your understanding of the subject. If you've done BBA, do you have at least some decent clarity about marketing? If you've done a BSc, do you understand the sciences, whether it is chemistry or physics or whatever? And so there is that level of assessment is another thing that we do. So these are a couple of things we look for. And I think initially it is a lot about energy and body language and communication.
And just to add along with what Naveen sir just helped us understanding what actually we look for in a candidate while preparing the rubrics parameters that we do at the back end to evaluate a particular candidate with multiple dimensions. If I say, we are looking for the potentiality of a candidate, understanding how potential is that candidate as an yet to be an employee for tomorrow. One is that. For that, one major attribute that plays an important role is the attitude. The attitude of a particular candidate that actually helps us to understand like how the particular candidate will act upon tomorrow in the program, plus later when he is an employee, and then looking forward to one is corporate, plus the society along with it, where yes, the sustainability and other ethics and all those things will definitely follow by. But yes, there are certain aspects to attitude. What we feel is, yes, one is your learning ability, One is your ability to relate with the past that you have done and how you will relate that in the future. That this part actually goes towards the 1 year applicants where the work experience matter. Where would like to understand what they've done in the past and how will they relate in the future after going to the program. The critical thinking ability part basically where how they have the ability to solve problems in how multidimensional way they are looking into a problem and then coming out with an effective solution maybe. And then the last one is the execution part, whether the particular candidate is having the ability or willingness towards executing that particular thought process they have. Is it only the idea they are sharing or they are looking forward towards the execution? Am I right, Naveen sir?
Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. So we are trying to estimate your ability to learn, to be employed, your attitude towards learning, towards critical thinking, and leadership. Do you demonstrate at least some basic? Of course, we are not expecting to come expecting born leaders already, but at least is there an inclination? Will you be able to motivate people? So there are a few dimensions that we have, and we try to assess those dimensions.
Apart from the aptitude, yes, this attitude plus this critical thinking, your creativity, all those things will definitely matter. There are certain weightages defined already for different parameters, from your entrance exam to academic to your performance in the group exercise, personal interview, followed by your extracurricular activity engagements in the past, the awards, recognitions. All those things will be definitely taken care as in bucket. What we could say is profile based selection process that we follow. But yes, on the interview day, yes, there are certain things that we are definitely looking for: your ability to relate, your ability to learn, your ability to motivate. All those things will be taken care. Yes, Nitya.
So, sir, am I audible?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, sir, moving on, that many aspirants, like I
I think
We lost Nitya.
we lost Nitya. Nevertheless, okay, no problem. One the more let we'll continue the moment she joins.
She's back.
Meanwhile,
Oops.
I think maybe some kind of technical glitch that she's facing. But yes, adding to the session that we are holding today, we were majorly what are the things that we are looking in an aspirant and understanding the audience in the room today. It can be, I think we feel that there are audience who are looking forward to applying, who have already applied. There must be as people in the room who have already appeared for the process. So somewhere what we are looking for in a candidate is common for all, and it actually helps or it matters to everyone who has not yet applied or somebody who has already appeared for the process also. Important is how long do you carry the things that you are holding in position. That is your one is your characteristic building. Am I Nitya? You're back? Okay. Yeah. Okay. We
yes, sir.
continue with that.
Sorry, this was my network issues.
No
So, sir,
problem.
moving on to the next question, as a aspirant, we all feel that during an interview you need to have a polished answers, because when I sit any interview I also feel the same thing. When I was coming for soils interview, I felt the same thing, that you need to have a polished answer of every question. You can't fumble in between, you can't repeat your sentences. So as a panelist, what you guys believe, that should answer be polished or you can fumble, it's normal, or what are your beliefs in that?
Well, my personal take is that fumbling is okay. It is natural. I don't have a problem with people fumbling. In fact, I try to make I try to make the interviewee comfortable and make them feel a little relaxed and not stressed out. Because I believe people bring out their best when they're at ease. And we want to understand people at their best. I'm not trying to do a stress test out here when I'm interviewing my candidates, but I think it's not the same for every interview process. But that's how I and some of us conduct the interview. So fumbling is not an issue, but your ability to then calm yourself down, say, I give me a moment, collect your thoughts, and resume with clarity. So I'm not a big fan of using hi-fi words and trying to impress us with your vocabulary, honestly, because sometimes people use these words without even understanding what they mean, and that is worse. It's better to use a simple language and to be straightforward and clear about what you're saying. I that's my most of our tendency is to not necessarily be impressed by your vocabulary. Okay, and so don't try to force fit and use language which you're not comfortable or familiar with. So any language that you use, if you're comfortable with using those words and you know what they mean, go ahead. But that is not the basis on which we are going to sort of select you, if you know what I mean.
True, very true what Navin sir said, and we also believe in the same thing. Be as natural as you can, so that you are able to join the dots from your SOP to the life map to the detailing that you have filled in the application form, so that you're able to speak more about it. You're able to express yourself in a way that helps the panel members to understand more about you, because this 15, 20, or can stretch to 45 or 1 hour interaction with you will help the panel to understand how you and the panel member, once you join the program, the compatibility zone will be created for the next 2 years, right? So this span of time, maybe in a physical mode or in an online mode, this interaction will actually help to understand, will help us to understand how the relationship will be built in the next 2 years, and then further longer during the entire career, if I would like to say.
All right, sir. In fact, I would like to share my experience. When I was interviewed for the admission in soil, I also fumbled twice, and I was unsure that whether I'll be judged on the basis of fumbleness or my sentences are repeating. But finally, I made it to soil, and then I realized that it is normal.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
sir,
So don't worry about that. Correct. Try to be natural, try to be real. I think genuineness and sincerity comes out.
okay, sir. So now I'll move on to my next question that if there are two candidates, if both of them has similar CAT and XAT scores and they have similar academic profiles, what typically separates a strong interview from an average one? Like candidates are same, their profile is similar and their CAT Z scores are also similar. On what basis the interview is being judged that one has a strong interview and other has the average one?
Right. So the conversation that goes on during and two things. Okay, there are two phases, as you all know. There is the group exercise, and then followed by the interview. In the group exercise, obviously, you are being evaluated for your ability to make a few meaningful contributions to the conversation, and you're adding value during the group exercise. That you are being creative, you're being participative, you're joining the dots, you are helping coordinate the whole exercise and preventing it from becoming a fish market, which sometimes, in everybody's eagerness to speak, it ends up becoming a fish market. So somebody has to step in and sort of coordinate, set the ground rules, give everybody a chance to speak. So that behavior is being observed when you're going through the group exercise. And in the interview stage, your listening skills are being observed. When I ask a question, sometimes some of you may have come with a pre-prepared script, literally, and so no matter what the question is, you're going on with that script, and then of course then you're obviously not listening to the question. So pay attention to the question and participate in the conversation. So that is being observed. Then a couple of things like general knowledge and general awareness. Some of us tend to check that. Do you understand what's happening in the business world? Do you Are you aware of what's happening in geopolitics, for instance? And so it's good to a good preparation is usually to be up to date with news. And so I would strongly encourage the reading habit of reading news and going through newspapers on a regular basis as a part of the preparation. So these are some of the parameters. Then, of course, you look at body language, one looks at energy levels, you look at potential, because one is your track record of what your academic track record looks like. But, we have a method that we've seen thousands of people over the years, and we have an assessment by looking at people and the way they speak and present themselves and have the conversation. We are able to judge to some level potential that you have. And I think that is what we're trying to assess here.
Yeah, and there are, just to add again with Navin sir, yes, there are certain IQ parameters already been set and there are certain weightages defined for each parameters on based on their performance. But then there are certain EQ method that we are going through from back at the back end. That is your right from the moment you log in for the interview round process, and the way you are presenting yourself to till the end of the day. So every seconds actually is being noted, and then we keep understanding how the particular candidate is behaving right from the peer group they will be sitting with in during the group exercise. And the group exercise format basically is not a 15 minutes or a half an hour of group discussion kind of thing. It's basically an exercise. It is almost 1.5 hour of exercise. So we get ample time to read a particular candidate there. Here, the qualitative aspects of a particular candidate is being noted, where we are not looking into their percentage, as the question said, if they are having the same CAT percentile or ZAT percentile or any entrance percentile, or academic is also same. How can we differentiate between the two? Here comes your leadership quality, your listening ability, your way of handling the problem that is being given at that particular time to come out with an effective solution for the same. It can be effective. It is not necessary that this is the particular pinned down solution as per se, but yes, how well you are able to relate yourself with that problem, and then how you're trying to define that, okay, this can be the maybe one of the solution, right? So that participations actually help us to particular judge, or maybe when we put down those scores, then this quantitative parts differentiates. We do not differentiate any 2 or 10 candidates understanding their percentile or percentage, rather that the system will differentiate later when the formulas come down to the picture. And it is all we are looking into the human centric part basically.
Thank
Yes,
you
Nick.
so much. Thank you, sir, for the answer. So I think basically what I can summarize from your answer is you look at EQ, not IQ, in during the interview.
Yeah, the major component, yes.
Yes, sir. So moving on to the next question, sir, what are the common red flags that you are seeing in the candidates that weaken their interviews? They are doing it repeatedly and they that weaken their interviews.
Uh-huh. Okay, red flags. So, of course, I watch out for listening skills for one. I think, like to, we red flag is genuineness and honesty. So, I mean, whoever you are, whatever you are, you should present that. So, if what you are and who you're trying to say you are different, that is a sign of an indication of insincerity or trying to be something else that you're not. I think that is another red flag. And then uh, overconfidence, or people who are also overestimate their capabilities. That could be another red flag. And value fitment is important. I mean, that's why we talk about values and all of that. We're also looking at people with the right attitude is one way of looking at it, but values, what are your core values? I think these are, if there is a mismatch between the values that we stand for as an organization and the candidate, that can be another red flag. Mm. But these are I don't have too many red flags usually, but yeah, these are some of them.
There are, again, I would like to add something here with Navin sir. Red flags can be, one is your performance inside the room. Inside the room is in the physical mode, yes, the group exercise room. In the physical mode, if it is a personal interview, then again, just in front of the panel. In an online mode, also, it's the same thing when you're sitting with the peer group of students competing with you, and there also this red flag is being mapped by the panel, as Navin sir said. And then there is a red flag, uh, options of mapping a red flag is also being mapped outside the panel. That is like the moment you get an OTP to register, and till the day you join for the program. So every interaction that happens between you and the team can be the entire institution as a whole, if I say. The red flag can come up anytime. It is all your behavior, it is all your how you are trying to interact, how you are writing, all these things will be taken into consideration, where we are trying to understand the longevity, basically, like how it's not that you got selection and offer letter, that means you say now I've already gone through it, now nothing else will matter, nothing as such. It is day from the registration to the date of enrollment. So red flag can come up anything based on your behavior, your way of handling things, right? So yes, there are,
Absolutely.
yeah.
On-screen behavior, I mean, you're obviously, your video is expected to be on all the time, and of course we are observing that. But also, example, in group exercises, for instance, or group exercise, you need to be able to, you need to allow other people to speak and so on, and not try to hog all the space in that thing. So that is also another red flag, example of a red flag. But yeah, pretty much everything that you do which alerts us to something that is not a behavior that aligns with our values could be a red flag.
All right, sir. So there is lots of talk about the authenticity in the interview. Naveen sir and the Dheeraj sir both have mentioned things. So one question is related to that, that candidates often struggle between sounding authentic and sounding strategic. So from a panel's lens, what does authenticity actually look like?
Hmm. Right. Well, so authenticity is something that comes out when you are being sincere. Okay. I don't think you need to plan for it. In fact, I would say take off the mask. How do I mean, this is not a suggestion that you need to speak in a certain way or in some other way. There is no right way to speak. The only right way to speak or participate in an interview, in my view, is to be authentic. And to be authentic, you don't need to design an authentic talk or conversation, right? You need to be natural. So I'm saying don't try to be authentic, because by trying to be what you think is authentic, again, you're not being yourself. And that comes out in the way you speak and communicate. So that is what is authenticity for me. Be yourself, be true. So don't fake it. uh, Faking gets identified at some stage or the other after a point. So just don't be fake. It's fine. I mean, even if you're not very comfortable, you may not be the best speaker of English. You might have to break into Hindi sometimes. I mean, because you're more comfortable with that. That's fine. I mean, that's not a showstopper for me. It's not a red flag for me. That's okay. But at least be natural, right? So that is what is authenticity for me. But Dheeraj ji has a lot of experience with admissions. Maybe you have more insights.
No, no, I agree with what you said, sir. And yes, authenticity is the same. Like what normally you write in the SOP or life map actually helps us to understand more about the other skills that normally is not presented during the personal interview or the group exercise, the writing skills, your emotional aspects that you went through your life, which actually is helping us to understand how the capacity that you have to handle a particular situation. There can be other situations that might come before you on the interview day, later, maybe in the corporate life. So all these things, why you have written in the application form
Hmm.
or on the day of interview, there's a leadership test, all the psychometric tests. These actually helps us to understand more about you. So if you try to, you can say, surpass them, thinking that if I today present myself in a different way, if I change my accent today, then that will not help us.
Yeah.
So maybe you might change your accent for a 15 or 20 minutes or so, but you cannot change that for next 20, 30 years. So you have to be as real as you can so that we understand the real in you. And if we come across any kind of maybe lackness, that will help us to create that benchmark tomorrow. And then we have the certain mapping system in the program, individual development program part, which actually help us to guide you and then come out with that particular changes that is required, and for that what action plan has to be created, basically. So be as real as you can.
All right, sir. So this question is for my next question is for 1 year MBA applicants. So how important is career clarity versus openness to learning and transition for 1 year applicants?
Openness to learning versus career clarity.
Yes, sir.
Mhm. So, I mean, both are important. Your clarity about how you want to build your journey, because a 1 year program student already has a little bit of work experience. They've done a graduation, they've got a little bit of work experience, and career clarity is important. It's an important factor. Uh, but what do you say? The other thing is openness to learning.
Yes, sir. Openness to learning and transition.
Yeah, that's a tricky one. I mean, I don't know how to put weightages to that, but both of them are literally fairly important. I mean, I would give both of them like a 30% weightage, because at this stage you're mature. The coming into the PGPM program expected to have certain level of maturity, and certain level of maturity means clarity of what you want to do with your life. Because this 1 year program is a very tight, compressed program where we squeeze a 2 year MBA into 1 year, and you have to really race through the whole thing and be super serious about it. And before you know it, before you know what's happening, you already the course is getting over and you're sitting for placements. So I would say it's important that you're very clear about what you want to do and how you want to spend that 1 year. And by the time, I mean, so that you're not like fumbling along. But openness to learn is as important, because what we have done so far is not necessarily uh, the best thing that we have done so far, and may not be our purpose, or may not be the long term career direction that I want to pursue, because we will discover your strengths, your abilities, and your passions and interests, and that is what should drive your career direction. So if you've been in the wrong direction so far, sometimes you might join us and you might have to transform. So openness to transformation and learning, anyway, I think openness to transformation and learning is a critical requirement for learning anything new. You have to not come with too much preconceived notions and be open to learn. So decent, good weightage for both.
Okay, sir.
I too pretty much agree with what Sir said. And as I said in the beginning, also one of the aspects of attitude is open to learning, learning ability. The learning ability says open to learning. The moment you keep yourself open towards learning, you will definitely get knowledge, and that knowledge will help you to understand what are the changing dynamics, that is dynamic changes that is happening in industry, and the transformation, what that Sir said. Yes, today if I am a coding expert, I would like to enter into marketing. If I'm an HR professional
Yeah.
working into, would like to change it to analytics. So the open to learning will help you to understand what are the opportunities there are in the industry in the different domains. So that's why, yes, I too agree with Sir. Equal weightage is required for should be given to both. If I have my mindset of learning, definitely I'll have different opportunities open for me always.
All right, sir. So my next question is for the 2 year MBA applicants, PGDM ones. So, sir, what are the signals in those applicants who are pursuing for 2 year MBA program that indicates that long-term potential rather than immediate readiness?
Long term potential.
Yes, sir. What are the signals in 2 year MBA program applicants that indicate that they have a long-term potential?
See, we ask usually we look for people who have demonstrated, look for students who have demonstrated that they have initiative. Initiative, if they have taken initiative in life, it could be anything small. It could be a neighborhood service that you did. It could be you saw somebody needing help and reached out and helped them. It could be taking initiative to be part of some society, some kind of a academic club or something like that, and you've done something. So initiative is an indicator of how much drive you have, and that's an indicator of potential. um, so those are some of the things, and also things like, I mean, it might sound very not important, but things like your interests and hobbies, these are also important indicators sometimes that you have a well-rounded personality, because interest in music and maybe dance and sport, all of these are different dimensions of intelligence. We talk about these 8 dimensions of intelligence that Howard Gardner, we often quote him and say that there are 8 dimensions to intelligence, and most of us are usually fixated on only the IQ part of it, which is only one aspect of intelligence. So there are multiple dimensions of intelligence, and if you have an interest and a competence in multiple domains like creative fields, sports, all of those are different dimensions of intelligence. So a wide combination of different interests is an indicator of of a mind that is capable of combining the creative and the rational, which makes for good potential for the future. That's one of the things. And of course, we look for emotional maturity, uh, people who have demonstrated leadership, like I said before, and team spirit. These are some of the things which indicate future potential. Dheeraj and Santosh, would you like to add something?
Yes, sir. Agreeing with you. Just to add, yes, the values plays a very important role here. The values that soil has defined, the ABCDE, where your awareness, balance, mindfulness, compassion, and then being ethical, all these things actually, when you invite them in within yourself and you practice them on a daily basis, not inside the campus, it can be anywhere in the world. That will actually help you to come out a different kind of human being altogether, what I can say. That actually will help you to be a greatest postgraduate, maybe not as a student, but yes, a good human being, what we feel.
Okay, sir. So moving on to the last but not the least question. If you had to define interview readiness for a management program in one sentences, what would it be?
Hmm. Clarity of thought and expression and honesty of intent would be something that would be on top of my mind.
Okay, sir. Anything from you, Dheeraj sir, Santosh sir?
Yes, we have been repeating the same. Be as natural as you can, be as real as you can. That will actually help us to understand more about you. You cannot change yourself. Last 20, 22, 26 years cannot be changed in 15, 20 minutes. And neither we expect that this will change in another 30 years immediately. So
Correct.
be as
Correct.
natural as you can so that we understand you better, you understand us better, and then we come out with a way that is much required for either side. We learn
That's right.
from you, you learn from us.
That's right. And you need to trust the process, that there is a certain process. There's no way to, no shortcut to beat the process. But be genuine, sort of. And of course, come prepared. Come prepared, of course.
Yeah.
All right, sir. Thank you so much, Dheeraj sir, Naveen sir. Now, I'll open the session for questions from participants. Please keep your questions brief and mention whether your query is related to 1 year MBA program or 2 year MBA program. You can write your questions on Q&A section.
There are already some questions on the
Yeah,
chat
there are
box I was
already
reading.
questions. So, sir, the first one is when will be the round one results for
Results
PGDM will come?
Uh-huh.
For the PGDM, two
for
years.
PGDM program. Yeah.
PGDM, yes, sir, 2 years.
See, 2 years, actually, there are certain cycles that are being followed, actually, round one application, round two. So there are a lot of interviews being held earlier, and maybe in the first phase of, I think we're expecting by the second week of Feb, we'll be starting with the first round of declaration of merit list, and then probably after that, we'll follow the moment a certain due date is crossed, and then once the seat is closed, the waiting list will be out. So we can expect those who have appeared earlier part of the maybe round one applications, I think by probably second week of Feb.
All right. So moving on to the next question. So the interview is going to be online.
Yes, we can say yes. We are not looking forward for a physical one currently. So yes, it will be 100% in online mode.
All right. So next is can you throw some light on the GE experience? Is it any different from the traditional group discussion?
S- Uh, Yes, it is. But there are a lot of difference between a group discussion and group exercise. Basically, in the group discussion, we come out with a single liner topic, maybe. In the group exercise, we do not come with a single liner topic. Rather, we come out with situations or problem based cases which are in and around us, which we are facing, which we are seeing, but we are ignoring, maybe. So we try to put this type of situations before the students in small groups. Instead of a 20 or 30 minutes of group discussion, rather it is a 1.5 hours of discussion where everybody gets the opportunity to express their thoughts, ideas. They go deeper into critical thinking. They go deeper into finding out new type of solutions. Maybe creativity is they come out with different creative solutions for the same. They can be a role play. They can be caricatures. All those things will be normally happens in a group exercise as compared to group discussion. So probably yes, the discussion definitely happens. There is a group definitely, but yes, the group exercise that soil we follow is a little bit different. That and we people in the room who have already appeared, they can throw some light and they can write that in the chat box if they have experienced it well. And people who would looking forward to appearing for the process, we are confident that definitely you will experience something better when you join for the interview round on the day. And we have those who are already shortlisted must have received a booklet to help them brief. We have sent one brief booklet to help you understand what group exercise will look like on the day of your select interview. And those who have not received it also, if you will be briefing about the same on the same day also, so not to worry about. So you don't have to prepare any kind of single liner and then you come out by hearted certain things and then you speak out. No, it will be something that is a real life base of problem.
Okay, sir. So moving on to the next question, one of the candidate is asking that if her CAT score is low, but college and school academics are nice and good communication skills, so will she be selected or not?
The selection will depend not only with the help of cat percentile. If it, I heard cat percentile is low.
Yes, sir. CAT percentile is low, but the school and college academics are good.
Okay, had it been the cat percentile high, also the answer would remain the same, that the selection will completely depend upon the final score that comes out based on the entire performance, where there are certain weightages being defined for your group exercise, personal interview, your academics, the entrance exam, your participations in the extracurricular activities, your engagements in internships, maybe the awards, the recognitions, your engagements, maybe with the NGOs. Whatever you are putting up in the application will be taken into account. We'll be looking into those, everything in detail, plus the SOP that you will write, the life map that you will share. So every inch of the application or your profile is being judged, is being screened, and then you are given the opportunity to participate in the interview round. And on the day, the best you give, the more you score, and then that adds up to the final total scoring board. That will help us to understand who are the when we put them into top order. So it's, as we always say, we do not have a predefined cutoff. So a percentile, lesser percentile doesn't say that the student or the candidate will not get selected. A higher percentile, it doesn't mean that a particular candidate will get selected. It is all your performance. There are higher percentage or the weightage is defined towards the group exercise and the personal interview round performance, where we are seeing the real XYZ applicant on the day.
Okay, sir. So moving on to the next one, what do you look in a fresher from diverse background, let's say from humanities? How do you judge his ability to grasp and fit in your required cohort?
Naveen sir, if you would like to take that
Yes.
up.
Yes, absolutely. No, we welcome a wide diversity. We are not we have, if you look at our profile, barely 15% I think is from engineering background, and 20 typically 15% going up maximum to 20%. So we have BBAs, we have BCom, we have BSc students, we have law students, we have biology students, we have agriculture students. I mean, so we have very wide diversity. So we are not being prejudiced by your undergraduate degree, and we appreciate diversity. We think it brings a certain quality of discussion to the classroom. So yeah, diversity coming from diverse backgrounds is not a hindrance for you.
Okay, sir. So next is when can we expect the round two results for PGPM and PGPM HR?
I think we are expecting the same by the second week of Feb.
So, sir, the next is what is the eligibility of marks in NMAT for 2 years MBA that are needed for the call?
As I just said, we do not have a predefined cutoff for any entrance. That could be from CAT, ZAT, MAT, CMAT, GMAT. There's no predefined cutoff. Rather, there we have weightages. So higher the score will definitely fetch higher the weightage, and then followed by the other parameters that we have already allotted towards your group exercise, personal interview, and then academic, and then extracurricular activities, as I said. So there's no predefined cutoff. Higher the score will definitely help you to fetch higher the weightage. If somewhere you feel that my entrance exam score is less and my academic is good enough, strong enough, you can definitely look forward for to applying and then appearing the process. Somewhere if you fall short, suppose your name is not coming in the first list, and there's an entrance exam coming by, maybe the MAT exam or an ATMA exam or a GMAT exam, and you score high, so you can always upgrade your profile by providing that particular score that will add up to the scoreboard again, and then might be your name comes in the second list, right? May not second, then it might come in the third list. So you always have an opportunity of upgrading your score, and there's no predefined cutoff. So it's all profile, and in profile we go deep in understanding each candidate.
All right, so the next question is which would be the best specialization to go for in terms of initial placements and growth?
There is no such thing as a best specialization. All four, five domain areas, HR, marketing, finance, operations, and analytics are equally important. The basis for your selection of specialization should be your interest and your capability.
Yes, sir. As a student in soil, I can also feel that there
Right?
is no best specialization. All
Exactly.
specializations are good, and initial placements and growth, every specialization has equal importance.
Absolutely.
So, sir, we'll go with the next question. Not everyone has had made as many chances as others. How do you judge a person who has not able to fulfill their potential because of some physical or mental issues, but is eager to learn and transform their life and career?
I think that comes out in the interview. So we are not prejudiced by your past performance, but in fact, that is why we have a very a personal interview round where we actually have a conversation with you and try to understand how you interpret it. So you have to be able to share that story in a way which is inspiring. What have you learned from your life experiences, and what do you intend to do with it? So that is how we see it. We are not going to be prejudiced just because you had a bad year or a bad few years. That's not going to prejudice us. And that's the same point I've made earlier.
And that's why we have specifically put that thing in the application form itself. Maybe for the 2 years, the statement of purpose, which is helping us to understand more about your potentiality or create thing currently, plus what are you looking forward later. In the 1 year program, yes, again, your life map journey that helps us to understand more about your ups and downs in the life that you have faced. So that's why that helps us to read more about you. So
Correct.
the question that you have asked, we have already gone through that part, reading those things that particular aspirant candidate has already written, and
Correct.
helped us know halfway about him, and then later we take that in the personal interview.
Correct. And if I can just sort of add to that, add to what Dheeraj just said, it is not the failure that affects our judgment of you. It is about how you deal with failure, or how you deal with your lows, and how can you bounce back. Because everybody goes through failure in life, and failure is, but do you treat it as a stepping stone to success? Do you learn from it, and how do you handle it is more important.
So, sir, the next is there any international exchange semester PGTM?
So we have a program where we send students for 1 or 2 weeks to an international university, to a university probably in Southeast Asia, and this year it might be a different university in possibly the Far East, Japan, Korea, or Europe, but depends on student interest levels and participation. But it's not an exchange program in the sense of, it's not like a 6 month exchange program. It's like a visit where you visit a university and a city, a global city. That's how we've designed it so far. But going forward, we intend to bring in exchange programs. Today, we don't have it.
Which type? Oh, yes, Adhiraj, so you want to say something?
No, I was just trying to interrupt in between, saying that I would request Santosh to keep an eye on the Q&A section so that we can club down, understanding the time limit. Maybe we can club down the questions together, and then we can take them up so that the audience are able to listen. Maybe so in case
Yeah,
if
it's
they.
a good idea because
Yeah,
there are a huge number of
mm,
questions. Like questions
yeah.
are constantly pouring in. There are like 72
I'm
questions now, and I'm like,
I'm also replying to the respective questions also in the
oh,
chat
perfect.
box.
Appreciated, yeah.
Santosh sir is
Yeah,
replying to the
Yes,
questions.
yeah.
So
great.
next is which type of questions are being asked on design thinking for PGDM students?
Design thinking, we don't ask questions. We observe you during the group exercise, and we observe your behavior, your creativity, your ability to come up with new ideas, and we explain the whole process. So there is no real preparation to be done. We literally tell you what is design thinking. We talk about the elements. So go through the process, and we will be able to and be there. Be Try to be active and participative. I think that's the key.
True.
So next is for 2 year MBA program, what is the weightage of academic questions for an experienced professional?
Weightage of academic questions. Look, most things in life are about balance. It's not purely about academics, but yes, we do expect some level of clarity. If you've done a BBA, or you've done a engineering degree, or you've done a finance course, if you've done a BCom, and if the faculty is from that domain, they're bound to ask a few questions on that, and that can influence you. I mean, you should not be a complete knockout in that area. You say you've done an engineering, but don't understand what is strength of materials, or you've done a BCom and you can't read a balance sheet. I mean, then those all will be knockouts. So, of course, a basic level of competence in the domain that you've done your undergraduation is expected, but we don't expect you to be like answering very complex questions and stuff. It's important. It can knock you out if you don't have clarity, don't have a decent understanding of the domain that you've studied.
All right, sir. So moving on to the next question. What if a candidate tries in GE round but not able to perform very well? Is it fine?
Uh, if you can just repeat that, if a candidate.
Tries
Doesn't
in
do well in
GE
G.
round, like group exercise round, but not able to perform very well in it. Is it fine?
See, there cannot be a word called fine or not fine. It is like the more the well they perform, and if the panel feels that yes, I'm getting what this particular candidate is saying is relating to the topic, the case, the problem, and the group also are actually appreciating the answer of that particular candidate, definitely will help the candidate to fetch more marks. If the particular candidate is saying something which is not relating to that particular uh, day topic, then that will definitely will not help the candidate to get marks. So there's nothing called fine as such. It's your ability to understand that thing and then deliver on the day.
All right, so next is his interview is tomorrow for 2 year PGDM program. He's asking for some suggestions which he should take care of.
I think the whole conversation has been all the suggestions we've been telling you. So if you listen to the conversation so far, you have all the received the suggestions already.
So next is between GE and PI round for the PGPM. Will there be breaks between the sessions?
Yes.
Yes, obviously they will.
So next is how many check boxes are to be ticked for a candidate to get selected and what are those check boxes? I think you already.
Okay.
That's an interesting question, actually. Uh, so it can be, we have not defined the number of checkbox actually, so it gets difficult for us to answer how many checkbox to be. detect. So
Correct.
a personality of a person varies moment to moment also. So, so be as real as you can, give your best as you can, and then let's see, hope for the best.
True.
So next is, what should our answer be when we are not sure about a certain question, something that is asked in the PI?
Admit that you don't know the answer if you don't know the answer.
Mm.
And if you know the answer, give the right answer.
Yeah,
Right?
if you try to answer the wrong answer, the answer will be always wrong. So it's better not to answer and say, admit that I am not aware.
Correct.
Right.
So next is soil AIU approved? If not, then will it affect in future in corporate sector?
I think he means AICTE, and I would state that the soil PGDM program is AICTE approved. I don't think that's what he means, right?
Yeah.
What is
So
AIU?
AIU, like,
AIU also that you mentioned, it'll never affect anybody in the corporate sector. I heard that for the first time. But no, there are alumni working in the corporate sector since years.
yes, sir.
Globally, not only India, there are people working in, I think, 22 plus countries. So it has not affected them at all. If had it affected, they would have all been sitting with us discussing. So there's no point that somebody who goes out of soil, being an alumni, gets some kind of challenges entering into corporate. Not at all. This program is defined preparing you to enter into the corporate sectors.
All right. So next is, my English is not that much good. What should I do for my GE and PI round?
I said that earlier also, and
So,
if your English is not good, that's fine. I mean, your ability to communicate sometimes is not just a pure function of your English speaking skills, but you should be able to communicate effectively. It's okay if you are using simple English, that's fine. And sometimes you might slip into Hindi maybe or something else. But so it's not a showstopper. If you can get your point across, I think it's good enough.
so next is it necessary to have technical knowledge for group exercise?
Not at all.
I'm not sure what they mean by technical knowledge, but it is good to understand how things work. And I mean, there is no specialized knowledge required, first of all, for the group exercise. The group exercise is an activity where all the guidelines are given, and you just have to display your intelligence, your presence of mind, and your ability to communicate and ideate.
Yeah, there are many questions related to GE only, like group activity, and for that, candidates can refer our YouTube channel, like so they can have some idea about how it goes, what they have to do in the activity, and also while getting the interview call, we have already shared one PDF help book that is already there, so they can easily refer that handbook so that they can perform well in the GI process.
So next is, I am a BBA fresher. My ZAT percentile is 96 percentile and CAT is 93 percentile, but my profile is 957. Will my poor academics hamper me later during SIP and placements?
What is 957?
10th
90,
examinations.
10th
12th is
school
low.
examination.
957, that means the graduation part is low as compared to 10th, 12th.
No,
No,
it's
the
okay.
answer is no, no, it doesn't
No,
hamper.
no.
It doesn't hurt you. Yeah.
Yes, sir. As I am right now sitting in the SIP process, the companies are least bothered about what you scored in CAT or what were your previous academic
Correct.
history was.
Correct.
So GD is on current affairs and GK.
See,
GD nahi hai, so there's a GE in which
hmm,
knowledge of current affairs will probably help depending on the topic. If the topic is around, let's say, sustainability, your knowledge about sustainability is useful. And even in the interview round, sometimes we ask you questions about general knowledge and business awareness. So business general knowledge is generally an asset.
yeah.
So next question is, I have given UPSC as well and had a BA background, helping my parents in their business, because of which I felt I have more interest in business studies. Would it be okay if I mention it in interview?
Yes, yes, absolutely. Please do.
Okay,
So
one,
next is,
yeah,
are there any
Nitya,
marks? Yes, sir.
yeah, Nitya, there is one question coming again and again, that is related to gap year. So gap year
Two?
really affect the like
Ah.
performance or the placement part.
No, I think many of our students come with a gap year. Many people have got a gap year. A lot of people who have worked typically have left their jobs a few months before in order to prepare and so on. So that is not going to be a big negative. It's understandable.
And what we have also learned about this gap year, maybe this has come up from the alumni working in a corporate, or
Correct.
and how they behave with this taking this gap year is, what were your engagements during those gap year? Was it towards productivity or not? What were you involved in? Is it learning, working, teaching, where whatever? But then those gap years, irrespective of number of years,
Okay.
what was the utilization that you have done of those days that have gone by? That plays very important role to us. Did you learn something? Did you come out with something that will help you in the next these current years or not? That important. You say I did not do anything. I was just trying to see what can I explore. That gap year is actually a gap year.
All right, sir. So the next is what is generally asked in GE for PGDM 2 years program.
It is already covered, I think.
Uh,
Yes.
it's not a single liner topic. If I again mention that to the entire mass, it is not a single liner topic. Here we are trying to relate with the real life based scenario or a problem that comes up with us on a daily basis, and then we try to get empathetical towards how can we solve those problems. So you'll be shared with certain those kind of problems or situation based problems to come out with some effective solution, discussing with the peer members that you.
Nitya, I noticed that there are a few questions relating to nervousness and how to prepare before the interview. I think let me take that because
Yeah.
that will cover a few questions. And I think I think it's important to sleep well the previous night. Um, do some deep breathing, calm yourself down, and uh, don't be stressed about the interview because the whole process is conducted in a very smooth and systematic way. It's not a stress test, so find methods. There are so many techniques of calming yourself down, whether it is meditation or yoga or getting a good night's sleep and being calm. I mean, these are simple techniques that you must practice before any interview so that you're calm.
Okay, sir. Next is since it is a personal interview, but you have mentioned that there will be group discussion also. So my interview will be taken in front of all those selected students who have selected for the interview at that time or separately.
No, no, no. So I noticed that this is a misunderstanding. First of all, we call it group exercise, not group discussion. And everybody who's shortlisted, in my understanding, Dheeraj, please correct me if I'm wrong, that everybody goes through the GE, all the shortlisted candidates go through both GE and personal
Yeah.
interview.
Yeah, yeah. No, no, I think the question that was asked, I think, was like, will I be
You.
participating in the interview for the entire student? What
No,
I
no, of course not.
meant, I guess. No, no, there it will be all 101, all
Right.
101. Group exercise, yes. There will be smaller groups. There will be small groups divided, and then all the groups will be participating separately. We have our own mechanism, online mechanism to conduct this process. So whenever you attend, you will experience the same. We exactly don't know what is the date you are looking forward to, but yes, there are separate mechanisms to handle this online interview round process, and you'll enjoy the same.
So next is
I think
this
the
is
time is
for
up, Nitya.
I believe
Almost
yes,
7 o'clock.
if I have to take up club down the questions, it might close. That's why, you know.
the gap year question you have already
Already,
answered.
yeah. There is one and different question that we have for PGPM program. How will my candidature will affect if I am not sure about my specialization for PGPM with 5.5 years of work ex? So if
No, no, if you're not
anyone,
sure of your
yeah,
specialization, that's okay. No, for PGPM, I think you
yeah,
should
for
be clear about
PGPM,
your
yeah,
specialization. Yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
in
PGDM, you
PGPM,
have a year to decide. But in
yeah.
PGPM, when you step in, I think you should be clear. Otherwise,
But
Think
in
about
PG,
it and have a conversation, but you must have clarity on that for PGPM.
Definitely, the candidate can opt for a separate specialization once they have entered the program. We give them a window a month later. But yes, some notion has to be that yes, I'm trying to build my career in this particular domain, so I should be pre-planned, and then later the mentors will definitely help you understand whether the decision that you have taken is right or wrong. But something has to come out before, because the program is shorter as compared to a 2 years program.
yeah, and in PGPM program also, like we have three terms, right? So as for my understanding, like first term is common for all, right? And at the end of first term, like everyone has to decide their specialization, whether they want to go for finance or analytics or maybe marketing.
Yeah, yeah.
So in
Yeah, that's true.
during
That's
that
true. Except
time,
for the
yeah.
PGPM HR cohort and the
Uh-huh.
BDLP, those two are separate cohorts. So the PGPM HR has to be decided upfront. The rest of them can decide, I think, maybe after the first
First.
trimester.
Yeah.
But Nitya, I have a hard stop. So if there's probably only one more last question I can take, but you can continue, Dheeraj and Santosh. I have a bit of a uh,
Sir, there is a
need
common
to move.
question I'm seeing by two, three candidates is that they have not mentioned a few of their work ex in the SOP or the fill during the form filling thing. So, is there any problem if they mention it during the interview? Will it be considered?
They
If they
they can
mention what?
they can
So,
definitely mention that during the interview if they're
Yeah, yeah.
not mentioned in the application form currently. And I believe this must be for the 2 years program, because 1 year program there that experience is mandatory there for the PGPM program as compared to HR. But yes, if they're not mentioned, then definitely they can talk about this, and later they can write to the admission department and providing us the maybe the experience certificates and all those things, so that that can be added in the profile. Yes, that can be taken care.
all right. So, as Naveen sir mentioned, that we are done with the Q&A round. So, we are coming to the end of the session. So, thank you so much, Dheeraj sir, Naveen sir, and Santosh sir, for being there and for sharing your thoughts and clearing all the questions. And with round three applications closing on 22nd Feb, we hope today's discussion helps you approach your interviews